Guess what? I just recorded this exact video. It was 11 minutes long and I didn't turn the microphone on. So I'm doing it again. So, starting now. That was the most insane and incredible race I've ever done. Not for my performance, just the race itself. I've no idea how Italian Triathlon get insurance for that, because it's so dangerous. I've no idea. I'd like to know how many people died today, because there's definitely a couple, and I was almost one of them, which I'll tell you about in a bit. But I'll start from the beginning, because it was chaos from the get-go. Not even just the course, just the organisation of this race. We come into transition to rack our bikes like you usually do at any big event like this, and you want to go and get your chip. So we turn up to rack our bikes, and they usually just give you a chip, but they said no, you need to go to that tent about 50 metres away and get your chip. So we went, and they were like, oh, here you go. And they're like, oh, ciao, ciao, grazie, grazie. And then we went back to transition. They were like, no, you need it on your ankle. You need one of those straps. They gave us a chip, just the chip, and no strap. I don't know if this is a European thing, but then they sent us down here about 300 meters away to get the strap to put it on your ankle, and we turn up and he's like waving it around like, look at this.
You're teasing me, you naughty naughty.
And then he tries to charge me €8 for it, and in cash. And the challenge Sanremo, they didn't send a race briefing or anything. There was no mention of €8. So that kind of annoyed me, so I still owe this guy €8. So that started me off, and that got in my head and made me mad.
Let me see what your mad dog face look like.
I'm sorry, what's a mad dog?
You're mad dog!
So then we went back to transition to rack my bike, and it's pitch black. They've got no lights on.
Race cars don't need headlights because the track is always lit.
So no one can see anything. Thankfully, I just happened to have a head torch in my bag. I don't know why I thought to put that in there, but it's in there, and now I can see, and I'm blinding everyone that looks at me. When you usually do a challenge race or an Ironman race, they have like racks, and you just hang your bag on these lovely organised racks. But this one, they don't have this. They just had little pegs on the like the thing where you put your bike. So you just have to, like, you've got your bike, and then you've got a load of bags, and transition is just completely chaos. And I do all mine, I rack it all in, we're all good to go, and I think, great, I've got loads of time. Then I go over to Eve, and I don't know if she's been having like a little nap or something, but she hasn't done anything. She hasn't even pumped up her tyres. There's no like bottles on her bike, like shoes aren't on, bags empty, and there's just a classic Eve pile all over transition. She's just blocking the whole thing. So we're all wrecked in transition, and now we got to walk to the swim start. But guess what? Nobody told us where the swim start is or how to get there. So we just follow this line of people down this road, and it's a one-way, one-lap swim, and it starts about 1 kilometre that way and finishes over there because it's 1.8k. So we have to walk for like 10 minutes this direction, and we get to the beach where we think it starts, but we're not quite sure yet because there's not many people there, and there's no toilets.
No! No! No!
And I don't know if you've watched any of my other videos, but I love to go to the toilet before I race. Wish me luck. So we have a look round, and there's this like weird, it was like water activity centre, but this is like 8 in the morning, and we're in Italy, so it's obviously not open, but this lady happens to walk out, and it's like keypad secure, so Eve quickly runs to the door and grabs it, and we all go to the toilet in this lovely block. No portaloos or nothing. I probably rate it, depends how I rate it. Flush was a 8 out of 10, good flush. Cleanness, before I went in, a 9. After, maybe not. And then we go to a swim start, and they've been saying all week that's going to be a non-wetsuit swim because the water temperature has been quite high, and even when we've been swimming in just our little swim trunks and swimming costumes, you've been getting sweaty. So Eve went up and asked the race director if it was going to be wetsuit swim or not. This is about half an hour before, and she comes back and she's like, yeah, it's going to be a wetsuit swim. So I put my wetsuit on, Eve starts putting hers on, Henry gets his out his bag, and we go for a swim warm-up in our wetsuits. And then I come back in 10 minutes before, and they're like, oh no, we've changed our mind actually, we're going to make it swim skin for pros and wetsuit for non-pros. So I have to get out, and I'm all calibrated now to a wetsuit swim, and now I have to put my swim skin on, and it's just chaos. And then they still haven't decided if it's going to be a deep water start or a beach start, and complete chaos. So if they get us all in the water, it's going to be a deep water start, and then they say 10 seconds to go, and I'm like, great, and I start my watch, got to get it on Strava, you should follow me here, and then they don't say go for like a minute, and I've got like the 10-second to go adrenaline for like a whole minute. I'm like high on adrenaline. I could fight anyone right now. If a lion came at me, or maybe a lionfish in the water, I'd knock him out. But yeah, and it probably actually helped because I positioned myself right at the far end and everyone else is over here, and I had so much adrenaline, I was off. I was to the first buoy first, and I was like not even trying. It was like the best swim ever. I was just like, I could see this big pack of people fighting over there, and I'm just having a great time up on adrenaline and caffeine. And yeah, so I stay at the front to the first buoy, that's about 1k in, second buoy about 1.2, and then we get into the harbour, and I can feel people tickling my feet, so I do a couple strokes on my back, have a look, and there's like 5 guys there, and they've been there the whole time. So I thought, I'll just have a little bit of recovery before I get into transition, and I come out the water third and right in position, prize money down stick. I think great, we're right up there. So we get out of transition onto the bike, and it's like 8k of flat to start with. I think I average like 285 watts because I'm on the back of a line of 5. Feeling pretty good. And then we go up the first climb. It's about 20 minutes, and I do it in sections of like a 10, a 5-minute flat bit, and 5. And I did like 2, 7, 8 for the first 10 minutes with a couple peaks over 450, and then a bit in the middle around 300, and then again 2, 880 up the second 5 minutes, and I'm feeling great, still in the pack in about 4th position. Then we come down this descent around a corner, and then we have a gradual false flat for about 10-20 minutes up to the bottom of this huge 50-minute climb. Again, sitting in the pack, feeling good, and getting a bottle from the aid station, and I'm all fueled up, ready to go up this massive climb. Yeah, off we go. I stick to my plan. I do 340 watts for the first 10-15 minutes of this climb. Middle, it kind of drops off a bit, maybe 335, but then the last 20 minutes or so pick it back up, and I think I average just under 350 watts for around 50 minutes. So pretty good power, but I can feel in my hips something's not quite right. And in all my races this year, I've had cramping issues in the front of my hip flexors. I don't know if it's bike position, or I think it's probably just the fitness, and my heart and lungs are a bit stronger than my muscles are. Maybe need to get back in the gym. But I go over the top of this climb, and me and the guy I was riding with, I think I'm in about 6th, 7th position here. We start the descent, and this descent is insane. There's no walls, no fences. They haven't discovered health and safety in Italy yet. And I start, and there's potholes everywhere, so I'm looking down, weaving my way through, and out of nowhere I look up, and there's like the world's sharpest, most dangerous, deadly corner. Oh no! Oh no! There's like a sheer drop off to the side, and I don't know, I just don't brake in time. My back wheel locks up, and I slide round to the side, and it goes into the gravel, and I can just see like over the side of this cliff, and my life's flashing before my eyes. I'm seeing all of my memories being born, and I can't really remember any others, but my back wheel like digs in and jolts me back onto the road. I was I was like super scared, but now I'm like double unclipped just in the middle of the road, like dangling around, and I hear crashing behind me. I turn round, and the guy I was riding with up the hill does the exact same thing, but he comes and he saves it a bit earlier than me, and he comes around the side of me, and we both look at each other and start giggling. Then we do the start of the descent together, but every time we go round there's lots of switchbacks, so every time I have this leg up, the whole inside adductor and this hip flexor starts cramping, and I just about between each of the switchbacks get time to loosen it off. But then as soon as I go into TT position, it just mega cramps all the way up here, all in here, all up this one. So I spend basically the whole descent for 30 minutes having cramp, undoing the cramp, having cramp, undoing the cramp, trying to drink water, losing bottles. But yeah, that was about it for the bike. And then coming to transition, I think I'm in about 7th or 8th after that catastrophe of descent. And then we go out onto the run. And then as soon as I come out of transition, I don't know, all the gels I've eaten, all like 15 of them.
8 to 12 a day.
8 to 12 cans?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They just sat in there and I feel like I'm going to throw up. I don't know if it's the heat or how hard I was going on the bike, but nothing has digested, which is really frustrating because I just love gels so much. Like, nothing beats pure sugar.
Nothing beats it.
Pure sugar.
Holiday.
Especially after all the sweets I've ate. I put all this effort into my diet for nothing. Like, now my body just doesn't even work. So it's a bit annoying, but I get going and I do a couple of K, not too bad actually. Like, the 6 in my stomach and it's not quite in my throat yet, but then I go into the tunnel, turn around, have a big drink of water, and then it just starts coming up and bubbling up into the back of my throat. If you've ever been to Sanremo, it's a very touristy place, but as you can see behind me, for massive yachts and fancy people. So I come back into the like key area of tourism in Sanremo, and there's a load of fancy looking, quite attractive female tourists, and as I run past them I'm like and a load of projectile sickness comes out of my mouth as I go past them. It's quite spectacular, and they are not impressed at all. I think they're on their way to the yacht. They actually look quite similar to these ones right now behind you, Eve, if you pan round behind. And that was kind of the story of the run. I was running like just fast enough to not get caught by too many people, but yeah, I just kept being sick in my mouth, and it was quite frustrating. But 11th overall, a couple of things to work on, and now after the bike power and performance, I'm pretty motivated. I just need to tweak a couple of things and maybe do a late race in the season. But remember to dislike and unsubscribe and leave a hate comment. Thanks.